States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to tonight's planning board meeting. Please be aware of the fire exit, which is to your left. In the event of emergency, please take the stairs and do not take the elevator. The meetings are recorded by the secretary for the purpose of a record and minutes, so please identify yourself each time you come to the podium and speak into the microphone. The board will follow the agenda and the items on the agenda. There's extra agendas near the door. After the case has been called, the applicant and/or representative shall come to the podium, identify him or herself, give his or her address, and present their case. The planning board members will then have an opportunity to question the applicant. If the case is a public hearing, it will be open for public input, at which time anyone wishing to address the board regarding the application will come to the podium and follow the same process. Once all public input has been completed, the applicant or site representative will be given the opportunity to respond to any and all public input. Once all public input has been completed and the questions have been satisfied, the case will be closed and the public input, and the board will then move on to a decision. No further input will be allowed after that point. With that, could we please call the first case?
I'll be doing the honors. Michelle just had to step out for a quick second. Case number PB 1907-1. Upon the matter of request by Christian Dewar, acting as agent for 2771 Culver Road LLC, for revised site plan approval to convert the existing building into a 9-unit, one-bedroom apartments, and to construct a new 6-bay garage with site-related improvements on premises 2763 and 2771 Culver Road in a mixed-use commercial district.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Chris Dewar. I'm an architect. I reside at 1375 Highland Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14620. We're here to address comments from the different agencies. I guess I'll go through the list of what we did. I have not yet identified the sanitary lateral or the water lateral. I didn't find that on our survey work, but I will do that. The curb cut that's being enlarged, we have a note as requested by Labella that if the sidewalk is damaged after we create the curb cut, that we will replace it, with reinforced concrete. You can see that in sheet 2 of 5. We also have a note about one-way access to Culver Road. If you can see in the across from the side entry to the existing building for the proposed apartments, I just propose a do not enter sign as you're looking east. Proposed lighting, I can show you that later, but we've identified proposed lighting that's all dark sky compliant. I showed the downspouts. Typically, the existing downspouts on the building are all tied into the sanitary sewer system. It's a combined system. The downspouts for the existing garage kind of diagonals off to the corner of the property in the lower south west corner. And the downspouts for the proposed 6-bay garage will all be directed towards the east and sheet drain across the parking lot. For the grading, there's a note about the grading generally flowing southeastward towards the building. If you look at the photos in the architectural section, there's actually you know, there's a berm up against the existing building, and actually the drainage does drain that way, but then comes around a crown and goes around up to the north and then back down to the south. And if you look at the grading plan, so there's no issue with the drainage heading towards the building. Floor elevations for the new garage, if we look at the architecturals, I didn't put them on the site plan, and I adjusted the elevations of the front elevation of the garage. The groups of, in terms of groups of 2 bays, 2 bays, 2 bays, I raised the grade up 3 inches, 6 inches, 3 inches, 6 inches, 9 inches, you know, cascading up to match the general slope, the cross slope of the driveway, just to keep the grade of the garage floor, you know, very close to the existing grade of the driveway. The proposed project from Monroe County comments, the proposed project may require a backflow preventer. Will request from Monroe, from Pure Waters, you know, if that indeed is correct. I'm a little confused on it because it was a place for 9 apartments, you know, for the nuns, and now we're doing something very similar, which is 9 individual apartments. So if they request the backflow preventer, we'll certainly do that. No issue. Monumentation, there's a note on the survey information that there is no monumentation within 1,200 feet of the project, and I put a note on the drawings indicating such. ROW, I had talked to John Raymond almost a year ago about this project, and he said there was no issues with Monroe County DOT. However, with extending the sidewalk from what is the handicap parking striped area directly to Culver Road, we do not meet the ROW, but we come into an easement. So I'll just have to check with John to see what forms might need to be done, you know, with that. Keep clicking my pen, sorry. So we did establish that sidewalk connection between the building and Culver Road, if that meets the criteria of the planning board. I'm a little vague on the parking lot that needs to be better screening. We can discuss that, I think, further. We are not having any signage on the property, you know, indicating apartments or this, just, you know, a street number. So there'll be no future application for signage. I did identify the setbacks on the existing and proposed garages. I showed toters in the trash enclosure, and we will just have toters. I showed lighting and contours on the grading plan. I did update the plans and show the rain garden, you know, and the plant list from New York DEC for plants for the rain garden. I created a bike storage area, which is off of that walkway that connects the parking lot to Culver, which is like a graveled 6x12 area where we can put a bike rack. Yes, we're going to put the same cement board siding on the back of the existing garage to match the back of the proposed garage as requested, which will be will meet the fence line from the trash enclosure, you know, so it'll be continuous in terms of new finishes. And the request for detail, the proposed curbing. We don't have any curbing, it's all sheet drainage, so we don't want curbing. I think that's about it.
So I think the screening, the screening was in regards to the 72 feet.
Excuse me, Bernie, could you use your mic, please? Thank you.
The question on screening, the parking, I believe, was in regards to the 72 feet where the 7 parking spaces are. There's currently bushes there that are being taken out. From what I recall, that's where the question came from.
Gotcha, yeah, we're removing.
Also, there's screening in the back on the garage side, on the proposed garage side, between the garage and the neighbor.
I mean, we're willing to do whatever it is you are suggesting. You know, 3 trees across the back of the garage, boxwoods maybe, you know, up close to the street in an L shape. You know, ornamental trees that grow slow, boxwoods grow slow. I used to live in Arundecoit when I grew up in Arundecoit, but I know I can't plant any arborvitae in Arundecoit, but I suspect our boxwood's still acceptable, our deer eating boxwoods.
Till they get to like it.
Yep.
What's that, they like it?
Well, no, but they certainly will acclimate themselves to it when they get hungry enough.
Gotcha, so I guess suggestions of what we might plant there that will survive,
So there are recommendations on the website, correct?
Yes.
and we can do that. It's in the development plans, the recommendations in the website.
I wondered if
You
you
know.
could just, right from the old garage to the new garage, make whatever you do, the planting consistent along that entire length. That's the,
He does have more room though, Michael. He's got only 3 feet, I think, from the
Yes,
old garage
correct.
setback. And
Right.
he's got a 10-foot or 12-foot setback. So that would allow for a bigger plant material as opposed to what is back there now, which is just a small garden.
I think that would depend a lot, I'm thinking it would depend a lot on what he plants. Because if it's something that grows vertical quite nicely but still fills in, it wouldn't matter whether it's 3 feet or 10. Just for the consistency along the back line.
Right, I'm just saying that right now it's just, I think, annuals back there.
Yeah, it's just,
So
It's just,
that's,
yeah, hostas.
I think I would want to require a little bit more than that.
yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to just bring up that we're just getting these plans tonight. Although I enjoy seeing them, it would be nicer to have them at least a few days in advance for review.
I agree. Did you provide any details on the lights?
We haven't picked the appropriate dark sky compliant fixtures. But essentially, we're just doing wall-mounted, lighting over the overhead garage doors, and then replacing the lighting that is, replacing, I'm not sure who made the comment, I didn't hear it. Replacing the lighting that's on the existing building with LED dark sky compliant lighting.
Do we have that in writing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, you can have it.
So,
You haven't included a sample of,
No, we haven't selected.
A
There's
spec sheet
nothing
yet.
yet.
That's what I
Nothing
asked.
that says that the lights on the existing building are being replaced.
No, if you look at the architecturals on the last page, it'll,
here's the one that I had.
in
The
the
one that we got
photos.
today or the one that we had 3 weeks ago?
We got today, I think.
That's the last page, where do you see it?
I don't,
Just replacing all the existing fixtures that are there
We
now.
don't have fixture cuts and we don't have any foot candle layouts for those fixtures,
and I don't have a copy of that.
correct?
No, I don't, no.
Let's see. I thought I seen something.
can I see that?
Yep.
All right, thank you. I would like to see something a little more definite on a landscaping plan. Instead of just rain garden and then a list of things, you know, like where you're gonna put plants and whatnot. And again, the backside of the garage would be important for us to see, I think, as well.
I agree with that, and one of the comments that we talked about at the
Workshop.
workshop meeting was the fact that there are a couple of large trees in that proposed new parking lot area that are going away. I mean,
Correct.
very large, mature growth trees. And when we talk about screening, I know one of the areas we were talking about screening was what is going to screen that parking lot since those trees are going away now. So I think we're looking for landscaping around this parking lot to help screen that, since we're losing extremely mature growth trees.
The,
This is that.
where were you thinking in terms of off of like the west side or the east side of the parking lot of, you know,
Yes, to screen the parking lot, yes,
Screen the
Okay.
parking lot from Culver Road in this, correct?
yes.
Yeah. It's that 72-foot stretch is what you're,
Okay, I mean, we can do that. We'll have to pull it back, you know, and leave room for snow storage, you know, which I suspect is acceptable. We'll pull the bike back. We can, yeah.
so normally they call out the snow storage also, which I don't think you've done, correct?
I can label snow storage. It's a plan where there's generally a lot of space, so I wasn't typically worried about that, but with the landscaping, we'll do snow storage.
And there's no other proposed lighting except what's on the fixtures on the building?
Correct, yep, mm-hmm.
I mean, I would like to see fixture cuts. That's
Yeah,
something
I
we
got that
usually
noted, correct, thanks.
require.
Yep.
And the foot candles should be shown for the existing building as well, and the foot candles should be labeled as well. I don't know what these two bubbles that are shown here, if that's 0.5 and 1, 1 and 5,
I can do the blow up, I just, yeah, okay.
What are your plans for when you wanted to start this and impacts if it's delayed? What's,
As soon as possible. It's always as soon as possible.
Oh, you're very good business.
Do we have a list of the materials? I mean, I don't have this in front of us because we're all trying to share one. No, I'm not saying I'm taking it from you. I'm asking a question to the applicant.
In terms of what, for the garage,
Yeah,
it's just cement board siding and AZAC trim and, you know,
the
there's,
colors that are going to be matching what is there, or how are we doing that?
we haven't selected colors, but if you were,
I think that was one of the things we asked for.
no, I wasn't aware of that, okay.
I'm sorry,
So-
Michael, I didn't mean to.
Oh, sure.
before I go much further with the public meeting, I just gotta ask a question. I think we're lacking a lot of information we asked for. So if we go forward, it's gonna be based on a lot of conditions. Well, I'm uncomfortable without having,
Mr. Chairman, I mean, we don't even have enough copies to even analyze the stuff
Right,
tonight.
yeah.
I don't think we can make any rulings tonight.
and even if we did, it would be full of
Information that we have.
conditions, which, so that's why I was gonna suggest, how the applicant felt about tabling this until you have all that information.
No, that's fine with me, yeah.
Can we review the things that we asked for from last time?
I'll pull up the email that I sent. Hold on one second.
Okay.
So one small point of clarification, something that you said, but I didn't see it exactly that way on the drawing. Drawing calls out for a gravel bike storage area. The intent is to have a bike rack on that?
I was assuming that that's what was your request.
Yeah, we're looking for a bike rack. The drawing
Okay.
didn't say that. I just want to make sure, you said it, I think, and I just want to make sure that we're
Okay,
getting a bike rack on that area. I don't know that we honestly care whether it's concrete or stone below it, but we want a bike rack.
Right.
I just had, under the notes here, it said identify bike storage area.
Okay,
So in a mixed-use commercial, that could be inside or outside, correct?
correct.
So if you had plans to do something on the inside, that would be sufficient too.
Yeah, exterior, outside, okay, yeah, all right.
But you should spell it out in your plan.
Yeah, I have, yes, correct, for the bike rack is what you're saying. Okay. Bike storage area with bike rack is what you're requesting, right?
Carrie, if you wanna go through the list.
I
Can I ask
can.
one more question first,
Oh,
please,
sure.
Carrie? On the trash enclosure area, we talked at workshop about the fact that if it was going to be toters only, we could make an exception to our typical split-face masonry enclosure. But if it's gonna be a dumpster, then it needs to be switched from the fencing proposed. Are we,
Spence, I see a vinyl fence is the.
correct, I'm just,
And
I'm
he's
asking-
indicating toters
And
to
he's
us.
indicating toters. I just want to make sure that the applicant is trying to tell us that the plan is we will have toters and not a dumpster. Is that,
Now, let me ask a question. You know, there's two levels of, there's toters, and then there's like a 3-yard roller dumpster, you know, that they pull out of the enclosure, you know, to load. You know, and then there's the, you know, waste management standard overhead, you know, dumpster, and you want masonry if it's the heavy-duty.
yeah.
Overhead
when the truck's-
dumpster,
Yeah, when the
okay.
truck's gonna be picking it and setting it, and it obviously gets moved
Yes,
and pushed.
yes, not one that they can push, you
Correct.
know, and
Right.
bring out. Okay, no, that's, I wouldn't anticipate a garbage load for 9 units, single bedroom, that, I mean, the units I have in the city, we can get away with, you know, on a weekly pickup, probably 3 toters and 2 recycling bins. You know, and it changes depending on who's living there at the time and, you know, who recycles, who doesn't, you know, if they recycle, you know, so.
So the plan is not an overhead loaded
No,
dumpster?
no.
Okay.
And it's kind of it's a problematic location even to get a truck in there for the overhead.
Follow-up
so,
question,
yeah,
obviously, if
so-
that's what you were gonna say.
Okay, you know, so I'm like, they're good at driving, but I don't think they're that good.
If there's no more questions, Carrie, could you?
So the applicant actually emailed and asked to follow up with the requirements, he indicated, he provided a bulleted list in an initial email, and it said, identify the setback of the existing and proposed garages, verify that the trash enclosure will have toters, include a lighting plan, include a more detailed landscaping plan, identify bike storage area, use the same material that is going on the new garage, on the back west side of the existing garage, detail all of the proposed curbing, and then I responded and indicated that in addition to that, questions / suggestion related to establishing a sidewalk connection between the building and Culver Road. Parking lot needs better screening, and in parentheses, I put landscaping. Question about amenities for bus stop, parentheses, if will remain near the project site. And then the last bullet was signage not currently included in the application, that will require separate application.
That sounds about right. Is that helpful to you?
No, I had the email, yes.
Okay.
So. I guess
So essentially, I mean, it's really just a upgraded lighting plan and upgraded landscape plan is what you're looking for. And then meeting,
That's what I want to.
I kind of, just a comment on the screening, I mean, can we put screening closer to Culver Road, you know, so that we don't have this row of landscaping in the middle of our yard? I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Because I kind of don't
I would
like,
be happy either way. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't like it there, you know? I mean, I haven't really talked to Jay about that either, but I'm just
I
trying
think
to
we're
get
just
the
looking
what
at a
you're
way
looking
for
for.
folks that are passing by, they're not.
On the
enjoying
sidewalk and-
same
okay, all right.
Parking lot that everybody else at.
Because I think it
rents
have,
from there.
it kind of feels like close to the driveway is wasted on just the people, you know, in the facility, not people on Culver. So I think I'd rather,
Looking for is your professional
That's-
opinion on what should be there.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can decide, but at least I know that, you know, it could be one or the other.
Will it go around the corner and includes Heberton? I mean, will it go along,
Well,
There's already some
There's a heavy, like, overgrown hedgerow, shrub
hedgerow
row
there on the side at the moment. I mean, if they're not gonna remove it, there's no
No.
reason to,
no,
and there was no indication that that was being removed.
no, we're just clipping it back for the new curb cut. Now, what is, would we want to plant some similar tall, you know, growing shrubs, you know, just on the other side of our curb cut? What would you like in the north, east or northwest corner, you know, of the parking lot? You know, across from the funeral home, but next to our, you know, our residential neighbor.
Are you asking us?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what, you know, is
I wasn't following exactly where you were asking.
to the west of the curb cut.
Mr. Chairman.
West
we're
of the
talking
curb
about This area up here, corner.
So on the other sides of the driveway from
Yes,
Hubbardton?
correct.
I mean,
I think anything regarding that provides any kind of screening, I think.
I think
we
quite
would-
honestly, we're looking for you to propose something that we can react to.
And there's a list of plants that you'll find on the website, so, I mean,
No, but in the same manner that I asked if we could move this from here to there, I was just wondering what you
Yeah.
were thinking.
Yeah,
'Cause
screening
it's-
plantings of
What's
some
different
sort.
there is it's like along Culver, we're not gonna have something tall, you know, it's gonna be bermed and look, you know, kind of human scale. But here, we're next to that tall hedgerow. So it's kind of out of balance, you know, I'm just wondering what,
Well, it could
down
also
the
be
road.
something that works with whatever you put behind the garage. It could kind of wrap that side of the property. It
Okay.
Depends on what you do
Right.
over there, I think.
arborvitae's.
Don't listen to him.
Replaceable every year.
Mine
Terry, I
are
think
well
there
trimmed
was-
on the bottom.
I think there was also a question, I didn't hear it unless I just missed it in the bullet points you just read about HVAC and what was gonna be on the site for condensers.
I do apologize. You did discuss that, and when I was trying to play Michelle at workshop, I must have not done a good job because I didn't have that written down on my notes.
So that's something that we talked about at workshop. We're gonna wanna know what, if any, exterior HVAC equipment there is going to be, and if there is any, where it's going to be and how it's going to be shielded.
we were not doing any, we're gonna be replacing windows, because they're all single pane,
Right.
you know, and our thought was to go with, you know, the typical service of the window units, whether it's an interior standalone with the two vents, you know, coming out, or a, unit that hangs on the wall, but that would be put out in the spring and pulled back in the winter, you know.
Okay?
We just don't, there's,
So if there is none, just indicate that, or just
well,
don't indicate anything.
there will be, but it won't, it's not.
Right, it'll be a tenant provided, the
Yes,
developer is
Or,
not-
I mean,
We're more concerned about seeing units outside that
Condensers.
we weren't aware
Condensers.
of.
you're gonna see units in the window or holes in the window that are units, you know, that are,
Right.
you know, the supply and the return, you know, for the floor unit.
So I'm gonna go back to, I made that suggestion, since there's a lot more information we're looking for. Does the applicant so choose to table this until you can provide that?
Yeah, yes.
All right, so with that, I'd like to make a motion that we table this for the other information, and provided we can all get copies of this probably easily.
Well,
It sounds like it may be getting
I have time now,
updated.
so I
They're gonna
can
be updated?
update it
Okay.
and get you, you know, the lighting and the landscape plan and the
And
rain
please-
garden layout.
You know, get it to us in enough time to review it prior to the meeting. There is gonna be another workshop, if you wanna attend that, just to verify anything that you
Yeah,
do.
we could do that.
We'll make ourselves
We'll
available for
get
that.
you, I'll talk to Carrie and we'll get you revised plans in time before the workshop, so we can meet and discuss.
Go ahead.
I did want to point out one thing in terms of planting along the right-of-way is just to be mindful of the requirements the town might have as far as maintenance goes and not impeding sidewalks. So in terms of where it's located, you'll want to check the regulations for DPW, for Department of Public Works, so that you're not creating a situation that's going to cause an issue or concern in that respect.
Yeah, we're not gonna have right tight to this, we're gonna have it back a ways, you know, with a good, with space, but I think it's better there than, you know, 10
Okay.
feet off of the edge of the parking, you know,
so,
where
too.
the people in Culver, and we'll berm it up a little bit, you know, make it feel a little bigger than it is, and, you know, do all that, so. And we'll probably do the same thing, berm a little bit around that one corner to the west of, our new curb cut.
And then I just wanna double check, procedure-wise, can I table this before the public hearing so that we can still have the public hearing at the next meeting?
You can.
I just wanna make sure, I didn't know if I had to go through the process and.
No, it'll be, we can advertise it as a public hearing again for next month as well, just to ensure everybody's clear that this will be subject to public hearing at next month's meeting as well.
Okay, so,
And,
Chair, I
and
will-
you're looking for a second on the request from
going
the
to.
applicant
I was gonna-
to,
So, in regards to the request from the applicant to table this so that they can provide further information regarding case number PB 1907-1, recommend that we table till our next public meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, we got a full board. No abstains, no absence.
Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no, yeah, thank you.
Thank
You
you.
guys showing up tonight. If we're in the city of Rochester, we wouldn't have a meeting tonight. There's one applicant, they don't have a meeting.
Oh,
Cancel
really?
it, yep.
I sat on the planning board there, and we used to
It's
do.
new, it's new, because
Oh, is
I've
it?
had that happen.
That's no fun for an
It
applicant.
is a bit of a bummer.
That's a bummer.
Carrie, the sign will stay up until,
You can actually take it down, in this way, and then you can put it back up 10 days prior to the next meeting. Or you can keep it up, that's fine. Either way is okay.
It'll stay up.
There's a zoning meeting in between now. You can wait until actually after the first of, if you want to wait until after the zoning board meeting, that'd help avoid confusion. People might think there's a zoning zoning application and there isn't at this location.
Thank you very much.
thanks you guys for coming. Crazy.
Next item on the agenda is a tabled item, is a town board referral upon the matter of request by Bergman Associates, acting as agent for Rochester Management, Inc., for rezoning approval to rezone 2 parcels of land located at 2590 and 2662 Culver Road, Wambach property, from R1 residential to mixed-use commercial.
Passing notes in class.
I'd like a motion to remove from the table.
So moved.
Mr. Chair, before we get started, I'm going to recuse myself.
He just wants to go home early. I've seen this trick month after month.
I think we
after
need a
month.
second. Do we need a second?
Yeah, a second, I was gonna ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Good night, Michael.
Lockie and Richards again. Okay, so, I think we've discussed this quite a bit at workshop.
May I provide an update as well from
From the town
proceedings
board?
from the town board?
That'd be great, because I know
So-
you brought it up there too, so.
The public hearing was opened for this rezoning application last week on the 16th at the regular town board meeting. As part of the introduction, I did provide the town board with the conversations, discussions that had been raised at your last month's meeting. In light of that, the town board, when they introduced and opened up the public hearing, wanted to contemplate rezoning, but so mixed use commercial was the application in consultation with the town, but they also wanted to discuss the potential for a split zone approach where the area where Rochester Management's proposing their senior housing, that would be designated for R5, which is the multi-family residential development zoning district, and then the remainder to be the mixed-use commercial. And so that is a potential option. So as you're weighing your referral, you can contemplate that and maybe perhaps provide a referral that addresses one or both of those. Either or of, you can address,
So do we still have to rule on what was asked first?
well, I think
Or are you saying
what's
it's amended?
I think now at this point, the town board is contemplating potentially either one of those options. And so if you wanted to provide your referral, might be best to provide your referral on the mixed-use commercial in its entirety, and then R5 and mixed-use commercial split zoning. And I say split zoning, but in other words, the R5 would be designated for the parcel that's going to eventually be designated for the Rochester Management portion of the development.
I'm just gonna, one more clarification. So the request before us was for mixed-use commercial.
Initially, the original.
The new one is now for one or the other?
I think the town board was wanting to examine both options.
Okay.
Because it's, again, it's a discretionary decision that the town board ultimately gets to make, so even if the application comes in one way, it's a town board decision. So at this point, in light of the feedback that this board had provided just as part of their dialogue for the tabled item, they wanted to explore that as well.
Can we address this as two separate issues then?
That's what it sounded like you were asking us to do.
That's what I was double checking, so
And
that's
I think that, if the referral wants to, potentially, your referral could just provide commentary,
On this, but we would go for that.
correct?
Okay.
I think you can do that.
I'll say that one more time.
Yeah, say that,
We would
say that in my
do a-
language.
We would do a negative referral because we would prefer to see an R5 at the line that's marked 509.2 going east, and west of that, we would prefer to see a muck.
Right. And we gotta do it that way instead of saying positively, we'd rather see a split zone with the R5 in the back.
Well, we can't say a positive because that would be agreeing to the.
Yeah, to the
Application.
the initial motion. Did we agree that did we agree to
We didn't agree to anything yet.
Didn't agree to
No,
anything.
so am I stuck on anti-muck in the front?
So
Are you stuck in the muck? Is that what you asked?
I guess so, yeah.
I want to ask, because it'll parlay into what you're saying, I think. Just to be 100% clear, Lot 1, if it was split, Lot 1 would be muck, and Lot 2 would be R5.
At the risk of maybe embarrassing myself, I do need to come and look at one of your plans, because
No, please,
it's
I just
upstairs in
wanna be
our
very
town
clear
board
on
stuff.
what we're-
And we could clarify by just making reference to the map that we're going off of.
So here's Culver. So Lot 1 would
This
be
is labeled
muck,
Lot 1.
and Lot 2 would be R5. Okay, I just wanted to clarify, thank you. Yep.
However, I don't think that answered your question.
No, it didn't, no,
So,
But the
but I
map
know where
we're
he was
using,
heading, and I just wanted to make sure I knew which lots.
the map he is
And I would-
using is SM01 or 01.
And I would just ask that you reference the particular map that you're referencing with the
Right.
Lot 1 and Lot 2. That would be helpful, because you have to recall that right now the site is comprised of two lots, but they are two linear lots, and so that's just showing what the new configuration would be.
Mr. Palermo, if I can ask you a follow-up question to your question.
Excuse me, I think just the mic might need to come over a little bit more. Thank you so much.
Mr. Palermo, was your question whether or not we had theoretically as a board been in favor or not in favor of muck on any of this property?
I felt all along, not all along, I felt that we initially liked what was going on in the back, and were uncomfortable with an undeclared muck in the front. Undeclared meaning, not designated, no possibilities, it was just an open muck. And if that's an okay, I'd like, I don't know, I'm kinda hung up about the fact that there's so little information about the front, and there's so many vehicular restrictions on that place. I mean, we all talked about the fact that it's tough to,
Well, we'd be doing a theoretical rezone for the sake of zoning, and any of those vehicular issues or whatever would be theoretically addressed when and if an application came before us, correct?
but I do think my memory's a little different. I thought the board was uneasy with declaring the whole thing a muck,
right.
and then in case the part in the back turned out not to be residential.
Correct.
There was concerns.
Correct. I'm just saying
I
that.
don't recall the other part.
Okay.
I can, as the maker of the motion, I can tell you that that's exactly what we were concerned about, making the whole thing a muck. We would prefer to have kept the back residential, which would be more in kind to what already existed. The front to change the zoning, if that's what the town board would like to do. I didn't think I really had a problem with changing it for that. I mean, even if it stayed R1, which I believe it is now, there would be some conversation about traffic with the county if they wanted to redo it as single-family houses. I mean, that's, I know that there was some conversation, and I don't know if anything's been resolved, Michelle, or Patrick, regarding the access to Culver Road. I believe the supervisor asked that as a question during the hearing of the town board.
Yes, they addressed that by essentially saying theoretically that would be possible for them to access through that lot, but since they don't currently know what would go there, that's not something that they're planning for, and that they didn't foresee that as an option that they would ever entertain with the current proposal for Rochester properties.
Okay.
In reality, if in fact it does become a muck zone, we still have the final say
On everything.
Sure,
on,
because
Even
it-
in
on
the,
that piece of property.
has
even
to
the
come before
R5,
us.
it has to come back
Right.
Yes.
before us.
Yeah, it's gonna come back for site plan, and that's when we can address traffic, we can
Yeah.
address.
So, I mean, we shouldn't be uncomfortable with that scenario.
And I want to make sure I understand. The R5 will allow the developer to do what he's planning on doing.
Yes.
For this applicant,
For
it
this
takes care of the underlying conditions of the zone will allow him to do it. He will need some
Variances.
variances, but he would need them
Either way.
with
It
muck
would
also.
require some variances, but the muck zoning would require some variances as well. R5 would certainly be an acceptable and feasible zoning for them to get their project through.
There's no extra encumbrance we're putting on them to, if we go to R5.
No.
And he may change the project that he needs no variances by the time we get done. I mean, I don't know.
True.
Does that help clarify?
Yeah, it does for me, thank you.
So, I mean, as far as a recommendation, I think it's exactly what you were concerned about. So it's almost making that motion
Right.
again with the extra words. But anybody else have anything to add, say? Now's the time.
Oh, I had the similar concerns that you did, that I wanted to know about the muck piece. I wanted to make sure that anything that happened on the muck piece came back here for review and approval.
100%, yeah.
That
Yeah,
we would have some say in the ingress and egress of Culver Road and,
Yeah, it would come just like a normal site plan.
yeah.
We would, but the county would have the
Final.
final word.
Well, we'd get the feedback.
They would
so
help
we
us.
would
Yes.
have, right.
They would help us with the decision.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Yes,
And
they
I-
would.
I mean, I think it still allows progress to happen here, so,
Do you want me to,
yes, please.
are we done with the,
Oh, any other questions?
No, that's all that I had. Thank you.
I'm about the same as she's thinking and everybody else.
You okay? I'm okay. Mr.,
I'm much more comfortable. I didn't like the muck on the whole property, so I think this is a good solution.
only because they didn't bring the whole thing to us.
Well,
I,
my
Oh, even then,
problem,
so there's still residential in the back.
yeah, my
Right.
problem with the muck on the whole thing is if the residential one fell through and then they wanted to put business back there, they could, and I don't think that's appropriate. So,
And you're okay? So- I didn't want you to feel left out.
so if you'd like, Mr. Chair, I'd make a
Please.
motion on a town board referral upon the matter of request by Bergman Associates acting as agent for Rochester Management, Inc. for rezoning approval from a rezone two parcels of land located at 2590 and 2662 Culver Road, Wambach property, from R1 to residential muck, mixed-use commercial, that the town board do a negative referral to the town board,
planning board, do a negative
the
referral.
planning board do a negative referral to the town board, indicating that we would prefer to see what is being called Lot 2 on SM01 to be an R5, as that will be more consistent with the current neighborhood surrounding it, and also follow through with the comprehensive plan and the need for additional senior housing in the town, and that we would be amenable to the what is being identified as Lot 1 on map SM01 to be rezoned as a muck, as a standalone for future development and use by the town residents. Do we need more?
Anybody else have anything that they would like to amend that with? Okay, all those in favor, please say.
Want to have a second?
Second, please.
I'll be your second.
All those in favor, please say
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And we have one recused. I appreciate having that extra. Thank you. I think everybody does.
Yeah, I think we,
We started to get a taste of minutes.
Is Mr. Evelyn still here to come back for the minutes or no?
I can run out, Chuck.
Anybody have a cell phone? We can call him.
Right?
he's probably on it.
It's probably doing sports better.
He's gone?
He ran.
We'll go forward. In regards, I take that back. I don't have a copy in front of me.
If you recall, he
You provided amended.
he identified some amendments,
Yes.
and he emailed them to me, and I made the appropriate changes.
And I know that you would have emailed them back to
And I'm
us.
pretty sure I emailed them to you all.
And on that, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the minutes from the meeting from 6/8/24 as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any,
I have to
Abstain?
abstain, I was not here.
And one
if you read
absent.
them, you don't have to, but you can. Correct? Am I right?
That is correct.
I did not read these, so
Did
I will
not
still,
read the amended minutes?
I will still abstain.
All right, one abstent, so it passes 1, 2, 3, 5, one abstention, and one recused lost, Mr. Evelyn.
One absent.
Two
One
abstentions.
absent.
Two abstentions. Well, not really.
Not really, right, correct, it's not an abstention.
Because he was here,
Yeah, he's absent, he's actually absent, right?
yeah, I guess.
He's absent.
You need a motion to dismiss?
Yes.
All those in or have a motion to dismiss, do I have a second?
Second.
This meeting's adjourned, thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Planning Board on ICAT Government Access. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Planning Board on ICAT Government Access.